let's just see the question number 4. Question number 4 says, from the choices given below, choose the equation whose graphs are given in the two figures. So first of all, we have the very first part as y is equal to x and y is equal to x plus 2 for the two graphs. Then we have the second, then we have the third equation, and we have to locate, or we have to choose the equation out of these 6 that the two figures that is given to us, that is the figure number 1 and figure number 2. For these two figures, what are those suitable equations from these 3 and from these 3? So let us suppose if we are starting with the very first graph, and we have the 3 equations, and we have to choose one equation which is actually satisfying this graph. So let us suppose if we are taking this graph, and the points on the graphs are actually 0, 0, as we can see over here. The points that are lying on the graph is 0, 0, minus 1, 1, and further 1, minus of 1. So any equation that satisfies these points will be the equation of this particular graph. So as we can see, we have y is equal to x, we have y plus x is equal to 0, we have y is equal to 2 of x. So let's just start with y is equal to x. So first of all, if I'll substitute 0, 0 over here, so for x being 0, y is equal to 0. It means it satisfies 0, 0. But let's just talk about minus 1, 1. If I'll substitute x as minus 1 over here, x being minus 1, y coming out to be is equal to minus 1. Y coming out to be is equal to minus 1. It means that y is equal to x is actually not satisfying all the points that are lying on this particular graph. Let's just move on further towards the second part. It says y plus x is equal to 0. Y plus x is equal to 0. So let us suppose if I'm writing it into the formation y is equal to minus of x. Now let's just substitute all these 3 points together in this particular equation, and let's just see whether it is satisfying all these points or not. So let us suppose if I am taking the very first point as minus 1, 1. So for x being minus 1, let's just substitute the values over here. If x is minus 1, so minus 1 into minus 1 is coming out to be equal to plus 1. It means it is satisfying minus 1, 1. It is satisfying minus 1, 1. Let's just move on further towards 0, 0. If x is 0, y is 0, again it is satisfying 0, 0. It means it is satisfying the second point that is lying on the line. Let's just move on further towards 1, minus 1. Let's just substitute x as 1 over here. If I'll substitute x as 1 over here, the value I'm getting as nothing but y is equal to minus of 1. So for x being 1, y coming out to be is equal to minus 1. It means again it is satisfying the point 1, minus of 1 again. It means this is the equation that is actually satisfying all these 3 points that are lying on this particular graph. So it means this is the equation. This is the equation for this graph. Let's just check the third point as well. We have y is equal to 2 of x. So first of all, if I'll substitute x minus 1, x as minus 1 over here, definitely I'm getting the answer as y is equal to minus of 2. If x is minus 1, we are getting y is minus of 2. Obviously, it is not satisfying this particular point. So this will not be the equation of this graph. So at the end, what we have concluded that the second part, y is equal to x, y plus x is equal to 0, is actually satisfying all the points that are lying on this line, and hence the graph of or the equation for this particular line is nothing but y plus x is equal to 0. It is y plus x is equal to 0. Similarly, in this manner, like we did with the very first graph, now we'll move on towards the second one. So let's just start with y is equal to x plus 2 first. First of all, we have 3 points over here. First one is minus 1, 3. The second one is 0, 2. And the third one is 2, 0. So let's just substitute minus 1, 3 in the very first part. X being minus 1. If x would be minus 1 over here, so the value of y comes out to be minus 1 plus 2 means 1. It means it is not satisfying the very first point, that is minus 1, 3. Now let's just move on further towards this particular equation. Y is x minus 2. Let's just substitute x as minus 1 over here. So if I'll substitute x as minus 1 over here, so minus 1 minus 2 is coming out to be equal to minus 3. It means that again this equation is not satisfying this particular particular point, because for x being minus 1, the equation or the value of y is coming out to be minus 3. It means it is not satisfying the point minus 1 comma 3. Now let's just move on further towards the third equation. Y is minus x plus 2. So it means that minus, if x is minus 1, so minus 1 is plus 1 plus 1 plus 2 is nothing but is equal to 3. So hence this equation is satisfying this very first point. Again, this equation will satisfy 0 comma 2. Let's just substitute x as 0 over here. For x being 0, we are getting y as nothing but 2. Further, if x is 2, so minus 2 plus 2 is y is coming out to be 0. It means this is the equation that is actually satisfying all these points. This is the equation that is satisfying all these points. It means the equation of this particular graph is nothing but y is equal to minus of x plus of 2. So this is all about the question number 4, in which we have to choose the equation out of the given equations, that which one is actually satisfying our graphs. So let's just move on further.